The funeral director handed me my mother's jewelry box with the same practiced sympathy he probably perfected over decades. She would have been so proud of what you're building, he said, but I barely heard him. Inside that box was the pearl necklace Mom wore to every charity event, every school board meeting, every moment she fought for something that mattered. My name is Gianna, and 3 years ago I watched my mother die knowing she'd never see the foundation I promised to build in her honor. You sure about this? Harmony asked, sliding the incorporation papers across my kitchen table. Once you sign, there's no going back. I picked up the pen. The Arnold Foundation for Young Women's Empowerment. The words felt right. Mom had spent her whole life advocating for girls who couldn't advocate for themselves. Scholarship funds, mentorship programs, leadership camps. She did it all while my father rolled his eyes and my brother Daniel made jokes about her little projects. Your dad's going to want in, Harmony warned. She'd been my best friend since college and knew my family's dynamics better than anyone. He won't be able to resist slapping the Arnold name on something this visible. Let him try. I signed my name with more force than necessary. This is Mom's legacy, not his. 6 months later, I was staring at my bank account, watching my life savings disappear into venue deposits, scholarship funds, and program materials, worth every penny, but the numbers still made my stomach clench. Gianna! My father's voice boomed through my apartment as he let himself in without knocking. Classic Rocco move. I've been thinking about your little charity. Foundation, I corrected, not looking up from my laptop where I was reviewing applications. And it's not little anymore. We've already awarded 12 scholarships. Exactly my point. He settled into my couch like he owned it. This thing is getting real attention. The mayor's office called me yesterday asking about the gala. The gala. 3 weeks away, and I've been planning it for months. Local business leaders, politicians, media, everyone who mattered would be there to hear about what we'd accomplished. What did you tell them? That the Arnold family is committed to excellence. He leaned forward. Which is why Daniel and I should be on the board, official capacity. You need experienced leadership. There it was. I'd been waiting for this conversation since the day I filed the paperwork. I have experienced leadership. Stephanie's been running nonprofits for 15 years. Harmony handles all our legal. Women, he interrupted, waving his hand dismissively. You need men who understand business. Real business. Daniel's got connections you can't even imagine. Daniel, who'd never held a job for more than 2 years. Daniel, who'd borrowed money from Mom's medical fund to invest in cryptocurrency. Daniel, who'd shown up to exactly 0 foundation events but somehow deserved board positions. Fine, I said, the word tasting like poison. But I'm still executive director. This is still my foundation. His smile was all teeth. Of course, sweetheart. We're just here to help. After he left, I called Harmony immediately. You said yes? Her voice went up an octave. Gianna, we specifically structured those bylaws to... I know what we did. I was already pulling out the foundation documents, scanning the fine print we'd crafted so carefully. Trust me. Your father's going to try to take over. You know that, right? Let him try. The next 2 weeks blurred together. Board meetings where my father dominated conversations about fiscal responsibility and expanding our reach. Daniel showing up in expensive suits, nodding along like he understood anything about the girls whose lives we were changing. The gala's going to be perfect, I told Summer, one of our first scholarship recipients, as we reviewed her speech. She was graduating valedictorian, heading to Stanford in the fall. Everything my mother had dreamed of. I'm nervous about speaking in front of all those people, Summer admitted. You'll be amazing. Just remember, You're not just representing yourself. You're showing everyone what this foundation can do. 2 days before the gala, my father cornered me in the foundation office. Big changes coming tomorrow night, he said, that same predatory smile playing at his lips. Hope you're ready. Something cold settled in my stomach. What kind of changes? The kind that'll take this foundation to the next level. Trust your old man. He walked out before I could respond, leaving me staring at the wall of photos, dozens of young women whose lives had been changed by my mother's vision, by my work, by everything I poured into this place. I picked up my phone and called Harmony. We need to talk tonight. What's wrong? I think they're planning something big. Harmony arrived at my apartment with a bottle of wine and that look she got when she was about to deliver bad news. Okay, spill it, I said, pouring 2 glasses. What did you find out? I did some digging after your call. She pulled out her laptop. Your father's been busy, really busy. The screen showed a series of emails between my father and several board members. My stomach dropped as I read the subject lines. Leadership transition, operational restructuring, board vote scheduling. He's been planning this for weeks, Harmony said. Look at this one. The email was from my father to Daniel. Emergency board meeting scheduled for tomorrow night immediately following Gianna's speech. Motion to install new leadership already drafted. She won't see it coming. Son of a bitch! I set down my wine glass harder than necessary. They're going to ambush me at my own gala. Gets worse. Check this out. She scrolled to another email. Daniel's been reaching out to donors, telling them the foundation needs mature leadership and business experience to reach its full potential. Mature leadership? My voice cracked. I built this from nothing. I've raised over $200,000 in 8 months. I know, but they're spinning it like you're some naive little girl playing dress up with charity work. I stood up and started pacing. What's their legal standing? Can they actually do this? That's the thing. Harmony's expression shifted. They can call for a vote, but remember what we built into those bylaws? The founder retains certain unilateral powers. Refresh my memory. Clause 17. Only the founder can dissolve the foundation's assets or transfer banking authority. And Clause 23. Any major operational changes require unanimous board approval, including the founder's vote. So they can't actually remove me? Not legally, but they can make your life hell and turn the board against you. Public pressure, donor manipulation, media spin. Your father's good at that game. My phone buzzed. Text from Stephanie. Something weird happening. Got a call about agenda changes for tomorrow. You know anything about this? I showed Harmony the message. Stephanie's on your side, she said. That's something. 2 votes against 4. Great odds. Actually, it's 3 against 3. I'm on the board, too, remember? Right. In all the chaos, I'd forgotten Harmony held a board position as legal counsel. So we can block whatever they're planning? If we know it's coming. But Gianna, they're not going to make this easy. Your father's probably counting on you being too shocked to respond effectively. Another text, this time from my father. Proud of you, sweetheart. Tomorrow night will be one for the history books. He's taunting me, I said, showing Harmony the screen, or he's genuinely clueless about how prepared you are. The next morning I arrived at the hotel early to oversee setup. The ballroom looked perfect. Elegant lighting, foundation banners, a slideshow cycling through photos of our scholarship recipients. Everything I dreamed of. Gianna! Summer appeared at my elbow, looking stunning in a navy dress. I practiced my speech 50 times last night. I think I'm ready. You're going to be incredible. I squeezed her hand. Remember, you're the reason we do this work. Ms. Arnold? A hotel staff member approached. Your father asked me to set up the conference room for a meeting after the dinner. Should I prepare it for 6 people? My blood went cold. Conference room? Yes, ma'am. He said it was for foundation business. I forced a smile. Of course. Thank you. As soon as he left, I called Harmony. They're setting up a meeting room, I said without preamble. This is really happening. I'm already here. Saw your brother in the lobby, glad handing donors like he built this place himself. Where are you? Bar. Come find me. I found Harmony nursing a coffee and looking grim. Daniel's been working the room, she said. Overheard him telling the mayor that big announcements were coming tonight. Something about expanding the foundation's vision under new leadership. New leadership. I sat down heavily. They're really going to do this at my own event. Stephanie just texted. She's suspicious too. Apparently someone leaked that there's going to be an exciting transition announced tonight. They leaked it to the press? Looks like it. Milo from the Tribune is here. He's been asking questions about leadership changes. I looked around the ballroom, watching donors and community leaders mingling, completely unaware of the drama about to unfold. These people had trusted me with their money, their support, their belief in my mother's vision. What do? Harmony leaned forward. We let them make their move, and then we destroy them. How? Trust me, and trust those bylaws we wrote. Your father thinks he's playing chess, but he doesn't even know what game we're really playing. My phone buzzed again. This time it was Daniel. Break a leg tonight, sis. Hope you're ready for some surprises. I showed Harmony the message. He's not even trying to hide it anymore, she said. Good. Let them get cocky. Let them think they've already won. But as I watched my father across the room, shaking hands and accepting congratulations for work he'd never done, I felt that familiar knot of rage building in my chest. Tonight was going to change everything. The ballroom was packed. 300 people, all here to celebrate what we'd built. I stood backstage watching through the curtain as donors chatted over dinner, completely unaware of what was coming. Ladies and gentlemen, the MC announced, please welcome the founder of the Arnold Foundation, Gianna Arnold. I stepped toward the stage, but my father's hand caught my arm. Actually, he said, loud enough for the MC to hear, there's been a small change. I'll be speaking first tonight. What? I stared at him. Dad, this is my speech, my event. Trust me, sweetheart, this will be better. Before I could protest, he was walking onto the stage. The audience looked confused but applauded politely. Good evening, everyone. My father's voice boomed through the microphone. I know you were expecting my daughter, but I wanted to take a moment to talk about the future of the Arnold Foundation. I felt Harmony appear beside me. What the hell is he doing? Thank you all for supporting this wonderful organization, my father continued. When my late wife started her advocacy work, she dreamed of something bigger, something more impactful. Tonight, I'm proud to announce that dream is becoming reality. The audience murmured, sensing something significant was happening. The Arnold Foundation has accomplished remarkable things under my daughter's passionate leadership. But passion alone isn't enough to take us to the next level. We need experience. We need business acumen. We need leadership that can navigate the complex world of major philanthropy. My hands were shaking. He was doing it, right here, in front of everyone. That's why the board has decided to expand our leadership structure. Effective immediately, my son Daniel will be taking over as president and CEO of the Arnold Foundation. The applause was scattered and uncertain. People were looking around, trying to understand what was happening. Daniel appeared from the other side of the stage, all smiles and confidence. He shook my father's hand and took the microphone. Thank you, Dad. And thank you all for being here tonight." His voice was smooth, practiced. "I'm honored to accept this position and excited about the foundation's future under new management." "New management?" I whispered to Harmony. "They're talking about me like I'm being fired." "This foundation has incredible potential," Daniel continued, "but we need to think bigger. Corporate partnerships, government contracts, national expansion. My sister did amazing work getting us started, but now it's time for the grown-ups to take over." The grown-ups. I felt like I'd been slapped. "Gianna built something beautiful here," Daniel said, gesturing vaguely toward the backstage area. "A perfect foundation for what we're going to build next. So let's give her a round of applause for getting us this far." The audience clapped, but it felt like applause at a funeral, polite, awkward, final. I started walking toward the stage, but Daniel was already wrapping up. "We'll be announcing some exciting changes in the coming weeks. New programs, new partnerships, new directions. The Arnold Foundation is just getting started." He handed the microphone back to the MC and walked off stage, heading straight for me. "Great job tonight, sis," he said, loud enough for nearby staff to hear. "Thanks for getting us here." "Getting you here?" My voice was barely controlled. "Daniel, I built this. Every program, every scholarship, and now we're going to make it matter." He patted my shoulder like I was a child. "Don't worry, we'll find a role for you, maybe program coordinator or something." Program coordinator of my own foundation. Harmony stepped between us. "Daniel, we need to talk. All of us. Now." "Actually, we have a board meeting scheduled," my father said, appearing with several board members in tow. "Conference rooms all set up." "Perfect," Harmony said. "Let's go." As we walked toward the conference room, I caught sight of Summer near the bar, looking devastated. She'd been scheduled to speak after me, to share her story with the audience. Instead, she'd watched my family steal my moment. "I'm sorry," I mouthed to her. She shook her head and mouthed back, "Fight." The conference room felt like a tribunal. My father sat at the head of the table, Daniel to his right. 3 other board members flanked them. Harmony, Stephanie, and I sat across from them like defendants. "Let's make this official," my father said, pulling out a folder. "Motion to install Daniel as president and CEO with full operational authority." "Seconded," said board member Tom, who'd apparently been bought off weeks ago. "All in favor?" 4 hands went up. "Opposed?" Stephanie, Harmony, and I raised our hands. "Motion carries 4-3, my father announced. "Daniel, congratulations. You're now officially in charge." Daniel leaned back in his chair, grinning. "Thanks, everyone. This is going to be fun." "One more thing," my father added. "Gianna, we'll need you to transfer all banking access and administrative passwords to Daniel by Monday. Clean transition." "Transfer banking access?" I looked at Harmony, who was studying her notes intently. "Standard procedure," Daniel said. "Can't have the old management holding up progress." "The old management," I repeated slowly. "Nothing personal, sis, just business." Harmony looked up from her papers. "Actually, there might be a small problem with that." "What kind of problem?" my father asked. "Well, according to the Foundation's bylaws, specifically Clause 17, only the founder can authorize transfer of banking authority or dissolution of assets." The room went quiet. "What does that mean?" Daniel asked. Harmony smiled. "It means Gianna still controls the money." The silence in that conference room was deafening. My father's face went from confident to confused to furious in about 3 seconds. "What do you mean she controls the money?" Daniel's voice cracked slightly. Harmony flipped through her folder with deliberate calm. "The bylaws are very clear. The founder retains unilateral authority over all financial assets, banking relationships, and asset dissolution. It's standard protection language. That's ridiculous, my father snapped. No organization runs like that. This one does. Harmony slid a copy of the bylaws across the table. Page 12, Clause 17. Would you like me to read it aloud? Daniel grabbed the papers and started scanning frantically. This can't be legal. It's completely legal. I wrote it myself. My father stood up abruptly. Gianna, we need to talk, privately. Anything you want to say to me, you can say in front of everyone, I said. Now, Gianna? His tone was the same one he'd used when I was 12 and had broken his golf trophy. I almost flinched out of habit, but Harmony's presence steadied me. Fine, I said, but Harmony stays. We moved to a smaller adjoining room. My father closed the door and immediately dropped his fake friendly demeanor. What the hell do you think you're doing? Running my foundation. Your foundation? He laughed, but there was no humor in it. Sweetheart, you're 28 years old. You've never run anything bigger than a lemonade stand. This foundation has real money now, real responsibility. You're in over your head. I raised that money. I built those programs. You got lucky. Right place, right time, riding on your mother's reputation. His voice was getting louder. But luck runs out. You need experienced leadership before you embarrass the family name. Embarrass the family name? The words came out sharper than I intended. I've done nothing but honor Mom's memory. Your mother was a wonderful woman, but she was naive about business too, always thinking with her heart instead of her head. He stepped closer. Don't make her mistakes. Harmony cleared her throat. Actually, the foundation's financial performance has been exceptional. 93% of donations go directly to programs. Administrative costs are below industry standards, and nobody asked you? My father cut her off. I'm asking her, I said. She's my legal counsel, and she knows more about this foundation than anyone in that room. Legal counsel. My father shook his head. You mean your college friend who's filling your head with feminist nonsense about women running things? Feminist nonsense? I stared at him. Dad, this is a foundation that empowers young women. That's literally the point. The point is helping people. But you can't help anyone if you run the organization into the ground because you're too stubborn to accept help. Help? You call stealing my position help? We're not stealing anything. We're saving it. Daniel had followed us into the room. Gianna, be realistic. You've done great work, but this is bigger than you now. We have connections, experience, credibility. Credibility? I turned on him. Daniel, you've never held a job for more than 2 years. You borrowed money from Mom's medical fund to buy cryptocurrency. What credibility? His face flushed. That was different. That was personal finance, not what? Not real, not important. I was getting louder now. Everything's not real or not important when it comes to me, isn't it? You're being emotional, my father said. This is exactly why. Don't! I held up my hand. Don't you dare call me emotional for being angry that you tried to steal my life's work. We're trying to expand it, not steal it, by removing me from leadership, by putting qualified people in charge. Qualified people. I looked between them. You mean men. We mean people with business experience, Daniel said. I have business experience. I built this from nothing. You had help, my father said. Donors who trusted the Arnold name, board members who believed in the family legacy. The family legacy? I laughed, and it sounded bitter even to me. Dad, you never supported Mom's work when she was alive. You called her advocacy cute little projects. You missed half her events because you were too busy with real business. That's not... And now you want to use her memory to justify taking over the foundation I built to honor her? We want to make it successful. It is successful. We've awarded 43 scholarships, funded 12 leadership programs, and changed dozens of lives. But that's not enough for you, is it? Because I did it. Because a woman did it. My father's expression hardened. You're being ridiculous. Am I? Tell me, Dad, if Daniel had started this foundation, would you be trying to remove him from leadership? The silence stretched long enough to be an answer. Harmony stepped forward. We should get back to the meeting. People are waiting. There's nothing to discuss, my father said. The board voted. Daniel's in charge. Actually, Harmony said, there's quite a bit to discuss, starting with Clause 23. What's Clause 23? Daniel asked. Any major operational changes require unanimous board approval, including the founder's vote. My father's face went pale. What does that mean? It means, I said, finally understanding the full scope of what Harmony had built into those bylaws, that you can't change anything without my permission. That's impossible. Read the bylaws. Daniel was already flipping through the pages again. This is insane. No organization operates like this. This one does, I said, and unless you want to challenge it in court, which would be very public and very expensive, you're going to have to work with me. Or what? My father asked. I looked at Harmony, who nodded slightly. Or I dissolve the foundation entirely. The threat hung in the air like smoke. My father's face went through several shades of red before he found his voice. You wouldn't dare. Try me. We stared at each other across that small room, and for the first time in my life, I didn't look away first. This is blackmail, Daniel said. No, Harmony corrected. This is legal protection. Gianna has every right to dissolve an organization she founded and funded. She can't just destroy everything because she's having a tantrum. A tantrum? I stepped toward Daniel. You just tried to steal my foundation in front of 300 people, and I'm having a tantrum? We're trying to help you grow. Stop! Just stop with the lies. I pulled out my phone. Harmony, show them what you found. Harmony opened her laptop and turned it toward my father and Daniel. These are emails from your personal accounts, planning this takeover for weeks. Daniel's face went white as she scrolled through the messages. Here's a good one, Harmony continued. Daniel to your father. Once we're in control, we can redirect the scholarship money toward business development programs. Much better ROI. Business development programs? I stared at Daniel. You want to take scholarship money away from girls who need it? That's taken out of context. Here's another one. Harmony kept scrolling. Your father to board member Tom. Gianna's done the hard work of building donor relationships. Now we need real leadership to monetize them properly. Monetize them? My voice was getting dangerously quiet. You want to monetize relationships with people who trusted me? That's not what that means, my father said quickly. And here's my personal favorite. Harmony clicked on another email. Daniel to his friend Marcus. Finally going to make some real money off this charity thing. Dad says we can pull six-figure salaries once we're running it. The room went dead silent. Six-figure salaries? I looked between them. From a foundation where I've never taken a penny in salary? Executive compensation is standard, Daniel started. Get out. Gianna, get out. Both of you, now. You're making a mistake, my father said. We can work together on this. No, we can't, because you don't want to work together. You want to use me to build something and then push me aside when it gets successful. That's not. It's exactly what you did to Mom. The words came out before I could stop them. She did all the work, made all the connections, built all the relationships, and you took credit whenever it mattered. My father's expression shifted. Your mother and I were partners. Partners? I laughed bitterly. Dad, she organized charity events for 20 years. How many times did you introduce her as my wife who helps with my charitable work? That's different. It's exactly the same. And I'm not her. I won't smile and pretend it's fine while you erase me from my own work. Daniel tried a different approach. Gianna, be reasonable. We're family. Family doesn't ambush each other at public events. We were trying to help. You were trying to help yourselves. I opened the door. Get out. We're done here. They left, but I could hear my father's voice in the hallway. She'll come around. She always does. After they were gone, Harmony and I sat in silence for a moment. You okay? She asked. No, but I will be. I looked at her. How bad is this going to get? Depends how far they're willing to push it. But Gianna, those emails, we have them on everything. The salary plans, the program changes, the donor manipulation. If this goes public, it'll destroy them. It'll destroy all of you, your family, the foundation, everything. I thought about that. About Summer's face when she realized she wouldn't get to speak tonight. About the 43 scholarship recipients who were counting on us. About my mother's memory being twisted into something she would have hated. Maybe some things need to be destroyed. There was a knock on the door. Stephanie peeked in. Sorry to interrupt, but there's a situation. That journalist Milo is asking questions. He knows something happened tonight. What kind of questions? About leadership changes, family conflicts, financial irregularities. Someone's been talking to him. Harmony and I exchanged looks. My father, I said. He's trying to control the narrative. There's more, Stephanie continued. Summer's been asking for you. She's pretty upset about not getting to speak. Where is she? Hotel bar. She's been there since the meeting started. I found Summer nursing a Coke and staring at her speech notes. I'm sorry, I said, sitting beside her. This wasn't supposed to happen. What did happen? 1 minute you're about to speak, the next your brother's running everything? My family decided they knew better than me how to run the foundation you built, the foundation I built. Summer looked at her speech. I was going to tell everyone about the leadership camp, about how it changed my life, about how you personally mentored me through my college applications. You still can. This isn't over. Isn't it? Your brother seemed pretty confident up there. My brother doesn't know what he's dealing with. Summer studied my face. You have a plan. I'm working on it. Good. She folded her speech and put it in her purse. Because these girls need this foundation. They need you. And if your family thinks they can just waltz in and take over something that's changing lives, what? Then they don't know the women they're messing with. My phone buzzed. Text from an unknown number. Heard there was some drama tonight. Would love to chat. Milo Barnes, Tribune. I showed the message to Summer. The reporter? Looks like word's getting out. What are you going to tell him? I looked around the hotel bar, at the donors still mingling, at the foundation banners still hanging, at everything my father and Daniel thought they could just take. The truth. I didn't sleep that night. Instead, I sat at my kitchen table with Harmony, Stephanie, and a pot of coffee that we'd emptied twice, planning what came next. The nuclear option, Harmony said, spreading documents across the table. Are you sure you want to do this? They fired the first shot. I picked up the foundation's banking authorization forms. I'm just finishing what they started. Once you trigger the dissolution clause, there's no going back, Stephanie warned. The foundation will be legally terminated within 72 hours. And then what happens to the programs, the scholarships? That's the beauty of it, Harmony said. The bylaws require all remaining assets to be distributed according to the founder's wishes. You can transfer everything to a new organization. A new organization that your father and Daniel have no claim to, Stephanie added. My phone had been buzzing all morning. Missed calls from my father, Daniel, board members, even some donors who'd heard rumors. I'd ignored them all. What about the legal challenges? I asked. They can try, Harmony said, but the bylaws are airtight. I made sure of that when we incorporated. Your father's lawyers will tell him the same thing. And the media? That's where it gets interesting. Stephanie pulled out her phone. Milo's been calling me too. Apparently someone leaked the story about last night. Someone? My guess? One of the board members who got cold feet. Tom looked pretty uncomfortable when your father started talking about six-figure salaries. The coffee maker beeped and I got up to pour another round. Outside my kitchen window, the morning looked deceptively normal. People walking dogs, kids waiting for school buses, life continuing like my world hadn't imploded 12 hours ago. There's something else, Harmony said quietly. I've been monitoring the foundation's email account. Daniel sent a message to all the scholarship recipients this morning. What kind of message? She handed me her laptop. The email was short and devastating. Dear Arnold Foundation Scholarship recipients, due to recent organizational changes, we are reviewing all current scholarship commitments. Please be prepared for possible adjustments to your funding as we restructure our programs to better serve the community. We appreciate your patience during this transition. Daniel Arnold, President and CEO. I stared at the screen. He's threatening to cut their scholarships. 43 girls, Stephanie said. Some of them already enrolled in college, counting on that money. He can't do this. Actually, he can, Harmony said. As president, he has authority over program decisions. Unless what? Unless there's no foundation for him to be president of. I looked at the dissolution papers again. My signature would end everything I'd built, but it would also save everything that mattered. Do it, I said. Gianna, think about this. I am thinking. About Summer, about all the other girls counting on us, about my mother's legacy being twisted into something she'd hate. I picked up a pen. They want to play hardball? Let's play. I signed the papers with steady hands. Okay, Harmony said, gathering the documents. I'll file these this morning. The foundation will be officially dissolved by Thursday. What about the assets? $230,000 in the bank plus the scholarship endowment fund. All of it transfers to whatever organization you designate. And I already have the paperwork for the new foundation, Stephanie added. The Maria Arnold Foundation for Women's Leadership, named after your mother, completely separate legal entity. How long before they find out? The dissolution filing is public record, probably by this afternoon. My phone rang, my father's name on the screen. Don't answer it, Stephanie said. No, I want to hear this. I put it on speaker. Gianna, we need to talk. Now. Good morning to you too, Dad. Don't play games with me. I heard you've been making calls, stirring up trouble. What kind of trouble? You know exactly what kind. Some of the donors are asking questions about last night. Maybe they should ask questions. Gianna, listen to me very carefully. You're upset, I understand that. But don't do anything stupid that you'll regret later. Like what? Like talking to reporters, like spreading lies about your family, like burning bridges you can't rebuild. I looked at Harmony and Stephanie, both nodding encouragingly. Dad, I need to ask you something. What? Did you really think I was stupid enough not to see this coming? Silence on the other end. Did you really think I'd just roll over and let you steal everything I built? Nobody's stealing anything. Did you really think I was as naive as Mom? Your mother? My mother was brilliant. She was kind and generous and trusting, and you took advantage of that for 20 years. My voice was getting stronger. But I'm not her. Gianna, you're making a mistake. No, Dad, you made the mistake. You underestimated me. I hung up and immediately turned off my phone. Feel better? Harmony asked. Actually, yes. Good, because Milo just texted. He wants to meet this afternoon. Says he has some interesting information about foundation finances. What kind of information? The kind that makes headlines. Stephanie's phone buzzed. She read the message and grinned. What is it? Summer. She's been talking to the other scholarship recipients. They want to make a statement. What kind of statement? The kind that explains exactly what this foundation means to them and exactly what they think about anyone trying to take it away. I looked around my kitchen table at these women who'd stood by me, who'd helped me build something worth fighting for. Then let's give them something to talk about. The Tribune's conference room was packed. I'd never held a press conference before, but Milo had insisted this was the only way to handle what he called the biggest local scandal in years. You sure about this? Harmony whispered as we walked in. Once you say this stuff publicly, there's no taking it back. I'm sure. The room buzzed with reporters, cameras, and curious onlookers. I spotted several foundation donors in the back looking concerned. Near the front sat Summer and 5 other scholarship recipients, all holding printed statements. Milo approached the podium first. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming. Yesterday evening, the Arnold Foundation held its annual gala. What happened next has raised serious questions about family dynamics, financial management, and the future of one of our community's most successful charitable organizations. He gestured toward me. Gianna Arnold, founder and former executive director of the Arnold Foundation, has asked to make a statement. Former executive director. The words stung, but they were accurate now. I stepped to the microphone, looking out at the sea of faces. In the back, I spotted my father and Daniel, both looking furious. 3 years ago, I made a promise to my dying mother. I promised her that her work advocating for young women wouldn't end with her death. That promise became the Arnold Foundation. My voice was steady, stronger than I'd expected. Over the past 18 months, we've awarded 43 scholarships, funded 12 leadership programs, and raised over $200,000. Every penny of that money came from donors who trusted me, who believed in our mission, who wanted to help young women succeed. I pulled out the stack of emails Harmony had printed. Last night, my father and brother attempted to remove me from leadership of the organization I founded. They did this without warning in front of 300 guests at an event I had spent months planning. Murmurs rippled through the room. But that's not the worst part. The worst part is why they did it. I held up the first email. This is from my brother Daniel to my father. Once we're in control, we can redirect the scholarship money toward business development programs. Much better ROI. The murmurs got louder. ROI, return on investment. That's how my brother views scholarships for girls who can't afford college. This is ridiculous. My father's voice boomed from the back. Those emails are taken out of context. Are they? I held up another one. This is from you, Dad, to board member Tom. Gianna's done the hard work of building donor relationships. Now we need real leadership to monetize them properly. You're twisting. And this one, I continued, my voice getting louder, from Daniel to his friend Marcus, finally going to make some real money off this charity thing. Dad says we can pull 6-figure salaries once we're running it. The room erupted. Reporters started shouting questions, cameras flashed, and I could see donors in the back looking horrified. 6-figure salaries, I repeated into the microphone, from a foundation where I never took a penny in compensation, where every dollar was supposed to go to helping young women. That's enough, my father said, pushing toward the front. This is a family matter. No, it's not. Summer stood up, holding her statement. This is about 43 girls who are counting on their scholarships. This is about programs that change lives. This is about a woman who worked 18-hour days to build something beautiful, and the men who tried to steal it. You don't understand the complexities, Daniel started. I understand perfectly, Summer shot back. I understand that Gianna personally mentored me through my college applications. I understand that she drove 2 hours to attend my high school graduation. I understand that she cares more about our success than her own recognition. Other scholarship recipients started standing one by one. And I understand, Summer continued at that you sent us an email this morning threatening to cut our funding unless we stayed quiet about what happened. The room went dead silent. You did what? Milo asked, his reporter instincts kicking in. Daniel's face went pale. That's not what the email said. I have it right here, Summer said, pulling out her phone. Would you like me to read it? That won't be necessary, I said, stepping back to the microphone, because as of this morning, the Arnold Foundation has been legally dissolved. Gasps filled the room. All assets, all programs, all scholarships are being transferred to a new organization, the Maria Arnold Foundation for Women's Leadership, named after my mother, controlled by women who actually care about our mission. You can't do that, my father said, his voice cracking. I already did. The paperwork was filed at 9 a.m. This is illegal. It's completely legal, Harmony said, standing up. The bylaws were very clear about the founder's dissolution rights. You planned this, Daniel accused. You orchestrated this whole thing. I protected myself, I corrected, because I knew exactly what kind of men I was dealing with. What kind of men? My father's face was red with rage. The kind who think women are too emotional to run organizations. The kind who take credit for work they didn't do. The kind who see dollar signs where other people see lives being changed. I looked directly at him. The kind who spent 20 years diminishing my mother's work and then tried to do the same thing to me. Your mother. My mother would be ashamed of both of you. The words hung in the air like a slap. My father's expression crumbled, and for a moment he looked old and defeated. Was it worth it? He asked quietly. Destroying your own family for revenge? I looked around the room at the reporters, the donors, the scholarship recipients who were applauding quietly. I didn't destroy my family, Dad. I saved my mother's legacy. And what about us? What about your relationship with your brother, with me? I met his eyes one last time. You destroyed that yourselves the moment you decided I wasn't worth respecting. The press conference ended with my father and Daniel storming out, but the aftermath was just beginning. My phone started ringing before I even left the building. Gianna, this is incredible, said Margaret from the Community Foundation. We'd love to discuss partnership opportunities with the new organization. The Tribune wants to do a follow-up piece, Milo said, catching me in the parking lot. The story's already trending online. Arnold Foundation scandal is everywhere. But it was the call from my bank that made everything real. Ms. Arnold, we're seeing some unusual activity on the foundation accounts, large withdrawal attempts that we've had to block per your instructions. Withdrawal attempts? Yes, ma'am. Someone tried to transfer nearly $50,000 this morning. The authorization was denied due to your account restrictions. Daniel. Of course, he tried to grab money on his way out. Thank you for blocking it. I'll be in tomorrow to close those accounts completely. That evening, Harmony and I sat in my apartment, surrounded by pizza boxes and legal documents, transferring everything to the new foundation. Stephanie's handling the donor calls, Harmony said, checking her phone. Most of them want to increase their contributions after hearing what happened. And the scholarship recipients? All 43 have been contacted. Their funding is secure under the new foundation. Summer's organizing a thank you event. What about the legal challenges? Your father's lawyer called mine. They're not pursuing it. Apparently, once they actually read the bylaws, they realized they don't have a case. My doorbell rang. Through the peephole, I saw Daniel standing alone on my doorstep, looking defeated. What do you want? I asked through the door. To talk, please. Against my better judgment, I opened it. 5 minutes. He walked in and sat heavily on my couch. The board fired me this afternoon. There is no board. There is no foundation. Right. He rubbed his face. Gianna, I screwed up. We both did. You think? I know you probably won't believe this, but I never meant for it to go this far. Dad said we were helping you, expanding your vision. By removing me from leadership, by giving you support, by taking some of the pressure off. He looked up at me. You've been working yourself to death for this thing. This thing is my life's work. I know that now. He was quiet for a moment. The donors have been calling. They're not happy with us. Good. Dad's talking about leaving town. Says the family name is ruined here. Maybe it should be. Daniel flinched. Gianna, we're still family. Are we? Because family doesn't ambush each other at public events. Family doesn't threaten to cut scholarships from girls who need them. Family doesn't try to steal money on their way out the door. You know about that? The bank called. He had the decency to look ashamed. I was angry. I don't know what I thought. You thought you deserved money for work you didn't do. Yeah, I guess I did. We sat in silence for a while. What happens now? He asked. Now you figure out your own life instead of trying to steal mine. And us? Our family? I looked at my brother, really looked at him. The golden child who'd never had to work for anything, who'd assumed he could just take what I built because he was older, because he was male, because that's how it had always worked in our family. I don't know, Daniel. That's up to you. What do you mean? I mean you have a choice. You can keep being the person who thinks he deserves things he didn't earn, or you can become someone worth respecting. And if I choose the second option, then maybe someday we can have a real conversation as equals. He nodded slowly and stood up. For what it's worth, I'm proud of what you built, what you're still building. It's worth something. Not everything, but something. After he left, I called Summer. How are you holding up? She asked. Tired, relieved, scared about what comes next. The new foundation's going to be amazing. We all know it. I hope so. I keep thinking about my mom, wondering if she'd approve of how I handled this. Are you kidding? Your mom would be so proud. You didn't just protect her legacy, you made it stronger. By destroying my family? By refusing to let them destroy you. The next morning, I woke up to 17 missed calls and 43 text messages. The story had gone viral overnight. Women supporting women was trending, with hundreds of people sharing their own stories about being undermined by family members. But the message that mattered most was from an unknown number. Hi, this is Jessica from Portland. I saw your story online. I'm starting a foundation for girls in foster care, and my stepfather is trying to take it over. Can we talk? I think I need your lawyer's number. I smiled and started typing back. Absolutely. Let me put you in touch with Harmony. And Jessica, document everything. 3 weeks later, I stood in the community center where we'd moved the new foundation's offices. The walls were covered with photos of scholarship recipients, program participants, and success stories. Summer was at a desk helping 2 high school seniors with their college applications. Stephanie was on the phone with a potential corporate sponsor. The Maria Arnold Foundation for Women's Leadership, I said aloud, testing how it sounded. It sounds perfect. Harmony said, appearing beside me with a stack of grant applications. Your mom would love it. I think she would. My phone buzzed, a text from my father. Saw the news about the new foundation. Your mother would be proud. It was the first time he'd contacted me since the press conference. I stared at the message for a long time before responding. Yes, she would. It wasn't forgiveness. It wasn't reconciliation. But it was acknowledgement, and sometimes that's where healing begins. Ready for the board meeting? Harmony asked. I looked around the room at everything we'd built, everything we'd saved, everything we were still building. Ready,